Hi everyone. Today's video is going to be a whispered reading of just a few recipes. This was a video that was requested probably about 2 weeks ago, and so I thought that I would give this a try. I've mentioned before that I do not cook, and it's not necessarily that I can't, because I can, and I'm fairly good at it. I mean, I've never ruined anything or nothing's ever turned out terrible, but it's just not really something that I enjoy doing. And I think that has something to do with my mom, because growing up, she was in the kitchen 24/7. I mean, she fixed hot breakfast for us every morning. Even like when we were out for school, there would be a lunch, not just like sandwiches or anything. I mean, she went all out, and then dinner was crazy. It still is with her. But anyway, so I'm going to be sharing just a few recipes today. I'm going to be reading them from a cookbook, and these are recipes that I have tried and that I really enjoy. I kind of wanted to go in order as far as like doing an appetizer and then a main dish and then a dessert, but they're kind of mixed in throughout the book, so I am just going to be reading them in the order that they are in the book. I hope that you all like this. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see something similar to this in the future. I'm hoping that this goes well, because my last reading video was beyond terrible. I don't know what has gotten into me lately, but whenever I start reading on camera, I just mess everything up, and that's kind of a problem considering that my YouTube name is Whispered Stories. I had planned on reading a lot of books on this channel, but I don't know what it is. I'm fine if I'm not on camera, but there's just something about it that messes me up. So anyway, we are going to give this one a try. The first recipe is for hot artichoke dip, and the recipe calls for 2 cans of artichoke hearts, 2 cups of Hellmann's mayonnaise, and 1 8-ounce can of Parmesan cheese. And you're going to drain the artichoke hearts, then you're going to chop them up, then you're going to mix them with mayonnaise and the Parmesan cheese. You're going to put all of that in a baking dish, and you're going to bake at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. And that's it. It is very simple, very easy, and very good. And then of course you just serve it with nachos, or you can do, I like pita chips with mine. I'm a big fan of pita chips. But really any type of chips that you want to serve with it will be fine. This next recipe is actually for a drink. It is for lemonade, and this is my favorite lemonade recipe. I actually made this about a month ago. Yeah, it was about a month ago, and it's really easy and really good. So this recipe calls for 6 cups of lemon juice, and if you wanted to do that yourself, it would probably be about 36 lemons. It also calls for 6.5 cups of sugar and 2 3/4 gallons of water. You're going to mix the juice and the sugar, and you're going to make sure that you stir it until everything is dissolved. Then you're going to add water, and you're going to continue to stir until the sugar is thoroughly dissolved, and then you add ice. That's pretty much it. I make sure like all of my sugar is dissolved. Well, not all of it, the majority of it, before I add the water, because the lemon juice really absorbs a lot of it. So that's just the way that I do it. I guess you could kind of wait until it's like halfway dissolved and then add the water. It just really depends on how you want to do it, I guess. And this recipe is for a Coca-Cola cake. I know Coke is so bad for you, but living in the South, it's just something that I love, and you can't escape it. It's everywhere. So this recipe calls for 2 cups of sifted cake flour, 2 cups of sugar, 2 sticks of margarine, 1 tablespoon of cocoa, 1 cup of Coca-Cola, ½ cup of buttermilk, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1½ cups of miniature marshmallows. And what you're going to do is you're going to mix the flour and the sugar together, and then you're going to set that aside. Then you're going to combine the margarine, cocoa, Coca-Cola, and bring it to a boil and pour over the flour and sugar mixture. Then you're going to add the remaining ingredients, and you're going to make sure that you mix those up really well. You're going to bake it in a greased 9 by 13 pan at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. And while the cake is hot, you are going to frost it with the frosting. And this is what you are going to need for that. You're going to need 1 stick of margarine, 2 tablespoons of cocoa, 6 tablespoons of Coca-Cola, and a ½ box of 4 times powdered sugar. You're going to combine all of those ingredients except for the sugar, and you're going to let that come to a boil. Then you're going to remove it from the heat, and you're going to mix in the sugar, and you want to make sure that you stir it really well. And that's it. That's your cake and your frosting. So it's pretty easy to do, and it's something that I absolutely love. This recipe is for honey spice chicken, and what you're going to need is 1 chicken cut into pieces, and I usually make my pieces fairly small. It really just depends on how large you want them to be, but I usually make mine pretty small. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of dry mustard, 2 teaspoons of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a 1/4 cup of honey, ½ cup of oil, ½ cup of lemon juice, and then 2 to 3 garlic cloves crushed. I usually go with 3. I don't think I've ever made this with 2. I've always done 3 when I've made this. Then what you're going to do, you are going to combine the marinade ingredients and shake well. You're going to pour over the cut up chicken, and then you're going to refrigerate that overnight, and that just kind of lets the chicken absorb the flavor, and it's really good. You're going to baste while cooking, either in the oven or on the grill, and you're going to cook in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. And on here it says that recipe serves 4. I would say that it really serves 2 to 3. Usually there's just 2 of us that eat it, and I don't really eat that much, but Chris does, and I don't remember us ever having leftovers when I've made that, so I would say that it's probably going to serve about 3 people. This next recipe is for a type of salad, and I like salad a lot, but I think this is my all-time favorite. It's not your typical salad, and this is something that my mom makes. Her recipe is a little bit different than this one. I wanted to get her recipe, but I've not been to their house in the last few days, so I just thought I would use this one. Really, her recipe is very similar, but she always makes this around Thanksgiving, and it is one of the dishes that I always look forward to. This recipe is for ambrosia salad, and what you are going to need is 1 can of pineapples drained, 1 cup of sour cream, 1 can of flaked coconut, and that's usually about 13.5 ounces. You're going to need 1 11-ounce can of Mandarin oranges drained, you're going to need 1 cup of miniature marshmallows, and you're going to need 2 bananas sliced. You're going to combine the first 5 ingredients, and then you're going to toss those lightly. You're going to pour into a casserole, and you're going to smooth it on top. And then you're going to cover it up and refrigerate that for about 8 to 10 hours. You are going to actually serve this on lettuce, and you're going to top it off with bananas. Now, my mom's recipe does not call for lettuce. What she does is she just puts it in a big bowl, and it's kind of just like a big fruit salad, and she uses all of this in hers except for bananas, and instead of bananas she uses cherries, which kind of gives it more of a sweet flavor, although it really doesn't need much of a sweet flavor because with the coconut and with the oranges and marshmallows, it's already perfect, but the cherries just kind of, I feel like, just kind of give it that last little bit, but it is so good. It just really is something that I look forward to every year, and I'm kind of glad that we don't do it more than a couple of times a year, because it's kind of one of those things that I feel like if you get used to it, it's not going to be that special. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. This is another recipe that I only have a couple of times a year, and Thanksgiving is one of those times. This is a recipe for butternut squash casserole, and what you're going to need is 1 quart of cooked butternut squash, 2/3 cup of sugar, half a stick of margarine, half a cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 eggs. And then for your topping, you are going to need 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 heaping tablespoons of flour. I kind of overdo it sometimes on the flour, but I don't think it matters that much. You're going to need half a stick of margarine and 3/4 cup of chopped pecans. You're going to mix the squash, sugar, margarine, milk, vanilla, and eggs, and you're going to cook it in a casserole dish for 30 to 40 minutes at 350. Then for your topping, you're going to melt the margarine. You're going to mix the sugar and flour with the melted margarine, and you're going to add the chopped pecans to that. Then you're going to sprinkle it on top and cook for another 8 to 10 minutes, and that's it. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this. I've enjoyed reading it, and I don't think I messed up too much. Yeah, so this was really a good request. Thank you. I believe it was Megan that requested this, so thank you. I enjoyed doing this video, and I still have a lot more recipes that I can share if you all are interested in that.